Je suis sexy, genre je le sais pas. Monte dans l'avion direct, aéroport. J'ai pas beaucoup de cash, ça ne va pas. Mais j'ai ce truc qui frappe, Dua Lipa. Je suis sexy, genre je le sais pas. Monte dans l'avion direct, aéroport. J'ai pas beaucoup de cash, ça ne va pas. Mais j'ai ce truc qui frappe.
YFM got the lens on go.
What's up, everybody? It's Madison Brodsky. I just got off the stage at the Osprey conference where we had amazing and inspiring women talking all about their industries and their careers thus far. A little bit about me. I started off at TMZ. I was there for 4.5 years. Then I went to Entertainment Tonight and became their red carpet correspondent for another 4.5 years before I got into e-commerce, where I was interviewing the likes of Oprah, Jamie Foxx, Drew Barrymore, Kevin Hart directly to their consumers, selling their products. And then I went into sports and gaming. So now I host a show called Live Play Bingo every morning. There's 200,000 people playing with us every morning, where I'm just going, let's go! into the mic all day long. And then I also host Live Play Casino, where they are betting real money every single night with me. I also freelance with the LA Kings and the LA Chargers, and I just like to stay busy. So that's a little bit about me. If you want to follow along, you can find me at Madison Brodsky.
Rachel Hill. And after that, feel free to network. Check out our sponsors, Cocktails. There is a restroom around the back later if you need to go. I would love to introduce now our incredible panel. It is moderated. We actually represent all these women coming up on stage. It is moderated by Madison Brodsky. Madison spent years at TMZ and is a red carpet host, and she is just incredible at what she does. She will be joined by Lois Cook. Let me tell you all about Lois, okay? Lois and I met each other a few years ago. This woman has played women's tackle football for like 2 decades, and she still plays. She is part of the DC Divas, and she's really helping with the WFA, and she's an incredible, incredible player and human being. We have the first female NBA scout and Emmy Award winner, Bonnie Jill Laughlin. Come on up, Bonnie. And not last, but of course not least, Beth Stens. Now, Beth is a financial expert who deals with male athletes' money all the time. So, we need a little bit of that up here. So, women, come on up. Welcome.
All right, how amazing was that panel, by the way? If you're feeling inspired, I need like a big round of applause right now. And while we're getting set up, how's everyone's Super Bowl week going? Good? Well, I know that the men are playing on the field today, but I can't stop paying attention to the women who are making this week go around. I've been to so many women-centered events where we're finally honoring the women behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, all the places, and now it's time to honor 3 amazing ones right now. So let's dive into it. Football's been such a male-dominated space. What was the moment that you guys knew that you belonged in this space and it's time to kick down that door and say, hey, I'm here, make some room?
Well, I feel like we're still moving the needle, but still have a long ways to go. Me being the first female scout in the NBA, I started with the San Francisco 49ers as a cheerleader and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And there's still something where I feel that we're so under a microscope, like where there's no room for error. We have to be perfect at all times, which can be exhausting. And I think there's a stereotype as well, right? That women don't know sports, are not knowledgeable, and then they hear me speak about it and they go, oh, maybe you actually know more than me. So I feel like that's something that we still have to kind of get through and have people get to know us and not just look at the exterior and then realize that we have more to than just our looks or what we've done in our career. And I think it's a long way to go, but I feel like we're still, we're doing a lot better than we were.
Baby steps there. Yeah, we can just go down the line. Yeah, that works. Go ahead.
Okay. This is on. I grew up, I don't know, can you guys hear me?
No, it's not on.
It says it's on. Okay. My chosen extended family, they were all coaches at CU Boulder, so I grew up in Boulder. So I was babysitting for their kids, And I was there when Rashawn Salam won the Heisman, so I saw that whole season, and I was like, there is nothing more exciting than just being around this energy, being around the team aspects, and it was over for me. I knew I had to just be around it in some capacity.
So for me, the moment was really when I stopped looking for permission and I started looking to purpose. I started playing football when I was in the neighborhood with young boys, and I'm like, I can do this too, you know. I'm out here pushing people and pulling people and not getting in trouble for it. So I really enjoyed it, and I felt like that really spoke to me. And so when I got into the sport, I started to show myself authentically to my community, to social media, and there were thousands and thousands of young girls who were like, oh my God, I love this too. I can do this. I've always wanted to do this. So for me, it went from It went from that, like me looking for permission, like can I play this sport, but actually being my purpose to show other girls that, yeah, we're here too.
I think purpose and authenticity are both really important and quality skills that are needed in order to knock down that door to say that, hey, we're here and make room for us. Is there any skills that you learned growing up that prepared you for this industry that we're in, this moment that we're in, to really lead that way?
I'll jump in, set the mic, but I think being vulnerable goes a very long way. I don't think that I could truly be who I am for that next generation. Turn up the bass. Unless I was vulnerable. I mean, we're females in this male-dominated sport. You deal with opinions of other people that might not go along with your own opinion. And you have to have thick skin for that. And so being vulnerable, being able to present myself authentically again, but being able to, present myself, that takes a lot of confidence, it takes resilience, it takes perseverance. All these things I learned from the football field, but that's literally what it takes.
I also want to talk to you, Bonnie, because I feel like going from a cheerleader, which a lot of people just overlook in terms of, oh, they have a brain, they're smart, they know football, and they can actually talk to the sport, to then all of a sudden being in the room making decisions as a scout in actually a whole different sport. Where did you learn to not only have the credibility, but show others that you have the credibility to get into that room?
I think when Phil Jackson came to me and said, you're the only female I know who can break down the triangle offense, it was, that's when you kind of knew when Phil Jackson's giving you your accolades that you can, pursue this. And a lot of it was just like you were saying, is like getting comfortable in your own skin. When I was first scouting for the Lakers, I wanted to be part of the boys. So I pulled my hair up in a baseball hat. I wear baggy Jordan sweats, and I tried to like walk and talk like the guys. And I remember Phil Jackson and Brian Shaw said, be you. Like, you need to be comfortable in who you are. Once you start talking basketball, they'll understand that it's more than, just that you're a female. And so a lot of that was, being comfortable. And I think that comes with age as well. And also, but kind of having a chip on your shoulder. Like, I feel like for me, having a chip on my shoulder, like, helps me. I love to prove people wrong. You say I can't do that, watch. Right. Yeah. There's not a chair for me at that table, I'll bring one over. So I think that's helped me a lot.
Absolutely. Can we also just take a moment to show how each and every one of these very strong individual women showed up in their complete you in their outfits today? We got the boots, we got the sparkles, we got the hot pants, and the helmet. I love that. Okay, Lewis, you've been in this industry for so long as a football player. What does it take to use your physicality, your mentality, your spirituality to just stay in the game for this long?
Whew. You gotta be a little bit crazy to play football. I know some of y'all out here know what I'm talking about, okay? But it's an investment of your whole self. It is not just the physical side on the field, it's that mental side too. But as a female who plays football, I have 4 sons, so it's a lot to juggle when you have to show up on the field as your best possible self, but you still have all these other things that's happening in your life.
Can we pause for a second? Did you have 4 sons throughout your football career and just get back on that field right after?
That's right, and they didn't have a choice. So my sons, they grew up in the sport, so they know women's football better than men's football. Right? Actually, because we said I gotta be center. My 9-year-old asked me the other day, well, not the other day, like last year, but he was like, Mommy, do men play football? Wow. And I think
That should be the norm.
It should be,
right?
Right, it was my norm. It was Jen. I know Jen's out here. It was her norm too. But so y'all gotta catch up. But yeah. So I forgot the question. So yeah.
Well, obviously you didn't make any sacrifices when it comes to balancing your career and your family, but I'm sure you made a lot of sacrifices along the way. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, so another part to it was when I first started playing football, I played football selfishly, right? This is my sport, I love it, I want to play, I like to hit people and I get in trouble for it. And then it converted, like I said earlier, to passion. So now I play for that next generation. So with that comes that responsibility. So when I show up on the field, I'm not showing up for me and how hard I can hit, I'm showing up for that next girl to show her what's possible for her to do it. So all of those things are what drive me to keep going. So yeah, 24 years for me in the sport. And I want to push 24 more. I can't, my back can't do it. My knees can't do it. I know I was playing yesterday, my knees were hurting so bad, you know. But it's so important to show and just be that representation and just to be present for that next generation. So really driving it, I don't even know if I answered the question, but driving this long has come from that passion inside of me, knowing that it is possible, we belong here, and I have to show up.
I know Bonnie wants to chime in.
I also think sacrifices. I think when you work in the space, whether it's sports or entertainment, like there's no holidays. Like if you want to work in sports and think, do I get Christmas off? No, you get these are the biggest games. Of course not. Weekends, I mean, I work 16, 18 hours sometimes, and I love it. So it's like if you don't love what you do and don't love it, then it's not for you. And it's okay if it's not for you, but you have to give everything. Like I made the sacrifice and knew early on when you married to the game, married to my job, and I never looked back.
I have always said since day one, all of our jobs are a 1 in a million opportunity, but somebody has to be that one, so why can't it be you? And at the end of the day, if you want it to be you, you gotta make those sacrifices. You gotta love it so much that you're willing to give everything else up for it.
Because there's also someone who'd be waiting in the wings for your job.
Yeah.
So always be grateful and thankful that you are in that position.
Yeah, they're ready to snatch it. What change do you guys think needs to be made in order to continue to encourage women to want to be part of the game?
Yeah, I would just say own your voice. When you're given that seat at the table, you earned the opportunity to be there. So what are you doing with it? How are you showing up authentically, genuinely, in respect to the women who came before you, but also to build a bridge for the women who are going to come after you?
And mentoring. I wrote a book in the League of Her Own. I highlighted 19 women who have paved the way. Billie Jean King, Jacqueline Percy, Danica Patrick, and so many fathers, mothers came to me and said, we love this book because it showed that my daughter, there is a space for her in sports. So mentoring these women, taking the time to talk, respond to your Instagram messages, anyone you meet during this week, take the time because as a little girl or anyone, it's like it means a lot. So make sure you take the time because there's a little girl who wants to be one of us in here.
That's such a great point, and that actually speaks to a lot of my journey in this sport is being present. And when young girls reach out to me and they have a football game, they're the only girl that plays on the team with all boys. This is why I carry my helmet everywhere I go, so that she knows she might be the only girl, but she's not alone. And there's thousands of women out here that are also in her corner, but also just. Like you said, like just taking the ownership, but we have to show women and girls that we don't have to be pioneers anymore. We are the norm, and we just talked about this. So really changing that narrative and showing up as the norm, not the first or the pioneer. Of course it's amazing and we want that, but we gotta be, I told you, it's normal for me. It's been 25 years, so let's kind of catch up.
Absolutely. And we're going to catch up by doing it better. Because we're girls. We know what we're doing.
We're not just getting a job because you're female. You're getting a job because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Not just because
you earned your spot.
You earned your spot. Male, female, whatever. That's the biggest thing.
One of the biggest statistics that you hear, especially around the league, is money, right? Everyone cares about what that contract's going to be, for how much, but also these guys will spend, and eventually lose everything and go completely broke 5 years after getting out of the league. So what is the biggest mistake that you see in the NFL players that you work with that you can give advice to everyone here today?
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes comes from Bart Scott. Some of y'all probably know, I played with him, linebacker in the league from like 2012, man had a phenomenal career, but one of the things he said was you can live like a king now or a prince forever. So I think, and there was just an article 2 days ago, Cam Newton said, I used to make $1 million a week. I don't make $1 million a week anymore, and now it may be $1 million a year, right? So it's having a healthy relationship with reality. We would all love to go be Peyton Manning. That man retired 10 years ago, and he is still getting all the endorsement deals. So I think having a healthy relationship with reality, and then also just understanding what kind of future you want for yourself, for your family, for your money. How does that align, right, with what you're getting paid now and what you might need for the future? I think those are the most important things. Other big mistake I see is not having a healthy respect for taxes. So having a good CPA is everything. So
Good financial advice.
Absolutely. And this seems like a pretty obvious question, but I want you to go a little deeper into it. Why is financial literacy and education so important for any woman, really in any industry, but especially in ours?
Well, I love what Hannah said earlier about intuition, right? Women are so good with intuition. And when you arm us with financial information, we become unstoppable. It becomes permanent empowerment, and that's something that no market cycle and no career transition can ever take away from you. And here's what's wild. No shade to the men in the room, but women investors, on average, outperform male investors by up to 2% per year. We're less reactive, we're more patient, so get it, girls. Your portfolio is compounding at a faster rate. Why else I think financial empowerment is so crucial for women, and not just women in sports entertainment, women in general, is that when it is time for a contract negotiation, you're doing it from a place of confidence. And you can walk away from opportunities that might not align with who you are as a woman or what your future is. And kind of what you were saying earlier, you had 4 children. Women statistically take more time off from their careers to raise their babies, support a partner's career, care for aging parents, so we have to be more nimble, mentally to maintain the same financial stability as our male counterparts.
Love that. Round of applause, you guys. All right, Lydia sent me some rapid fire questions to ask you guys, so we're gonna go for it right now. Ready? What is one thing that you wish you knew sooner in your industry? Rapid fire.
I wish I knew they had padded compression shorts instead of those integrated the ones you got. I wish I knew. No, I just wish I knew that we belong here. Like I wish I didn't have to. When I was in high school and I asked for permission. I said I want to play, and I was told no, and I accepted that. That was my no, and I just didn't go play. Had I known, that was a no, not right now, I would have learned the game. I would have got into it, you know what I'm saying? So just knowing earlier that those no's are not the no period, it's just a not yet.
I think I would have told my younger self not to care so much what people think of me. And the minute we do think about that, and social media now, so a lot of that, and giving myself grace to for me, I was raised to be perfect, and there's no such thing. So to kind of be able to embrace your flaws as well as you're growing.
Part of what makes you unique.
Mine would be that flow state that professional athletes get into at the peak performance, that zone. You can channel that into anything, money, relationships. So I wish I knew that a lot earlier.
I'm going to chime in here too and give mine. Yeah. I think the art of pivoting, right? It's okay to not make your original dream come true because your original dream might be leading you to the dream you're actually supposed to end up in. So I think that was a good one to add in there. Okay, one skill women must master to thrive in sports. Confidence?
Confidence, thick skin, gritty, resilience, never give up, go on.
How long do you guys have?
Well, I'll just add because as specifically for women's pro football, tackle football agent, she tackles me all the time, y'all. She tackles me all the time. The whole conversation on the internet. But we as female athletes have to, especially football, because we don't have the infrastructure. We have to be our own marketers, our own agents, our own leader. We have to do everything. We are entrepreneurs within ourselves, and we have to take on the role of so many other departments just to survive.
I'm a non-athlete, so I'm just skip that.
All right, before we retire this conversation, let's retire a phrase for each of us for good. what is one phrase you'd like to never hear again about women in sports? So I'm gonna hang up that jersey.
I'm going to tell you the phrase I don't want to hear is football is back because it never left.
Yeah.
You're just a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a lot of it just that women don't belong in this space. You know, I mean, it's all different ways of how they say it. But like, no, you know, that you don't belong here. So, you know,
It's flipping that on its head, right? You're just a girl. Yeah, and I'm powerful. I'm gonna be better.
I am that girl.
Yeah.
I would say it really can just be about the love of the game. You know, we're in it to help the men, we're not in it to go for the men. It's just, it really is about the love of the game. So.
All right, you guys. That was so fun.
Thank you, ladies. Give them another round of applause. That was so fabulous. I mean, all the different personalities and talents. We have Rachel going to come out and sing one song for us.
Okay, so.
Before you go, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. This has meant a lot to me. This is still a startup, Osprey, and we're always looking for support. Beth actually helped me when I was raising my first funding round when I had needed some financial advice. So we all are here to help.
I love your energy.
Rachel, who will be coming up to sing her song "Nothing But Water," was an American Idol finalist. She sings the national anthem in just about every field, arena, court you can think of. And this was on the billboard. So, to finish off our day today, Rachel is going to sing one song. And then after that, feel free to stay. We've got 30 more minutes after that to mingle and check out our cocktail sponsors over there. They're amazing. Okay.
Lydia, get back in there.
Oh. Yeah.
Everyone smile. How y'all doing?
And a special thank you to the
To work on that chair.
here and the Media family for supporting my solo female founder from Houston. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. All right, Rachel, let's go, girls.
How y'all doing? Cook about here from Football Her and also the DC Divas with the WFA. And a huge shout out to YFM Media and Smugglers for bringing in all the energy today. Thank you for being here, and I've been so excited to be a part of this whole event.
Financial planner for sports and entertainment clientele. Want to give a huge thank you to Smugglers Rum and YFM Media. So I work really closely with players, athletes and entertainers and their families. It's really just about making sure they're prepared financially, both now and for whatever they want for their future. Just making sure they're fulfilled and what gets them out of bed in the morning and what keeps them up at night, that all those questions are answered so that they have a life well lived.
Spring Collective event. I'm Lydia Davies, the founder. We just finished an amazing, empowering couple of hours with incredible women. We had some of the Texans here. We had Hannah McNair speaking. We had Dr. Jen Welter, first female NFL coach, an incredible panel of women, and of course a singer, because that's what we do at Osprey. We bring women together, we empower the room, and we make things happen because women belong in sports. And a special thank you to YFM Media and Smugglers Rum for coming here and supporting us today with their incredible content, support, and cocktails.
YFM got the lens on go.